Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have a lot more fun. I'm your host, Paul Sanneman. I am founder of Contractor Staffing Source, where we help contractors build great teams. Today, my guest is Danny Dovel, and he is founder and CEO of BlueVine Marketing Solutions. So, Danny, tell me why people should listen to you. Why do you know a lot about marketing?
I will tell you. Thanks for the intro, Paul. So we partner with 70 plus service-based businesses, a ton of contractors, and we've essentially built a system where we're able to drive results better than Google tells us it's 200, 300% better than the average industry for about 30 to 60% less money. And so we do this by getting really, really specific with what we do. And so that's why you should listen. We found some stuff that works, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Well, I'm already interested. 3% less money, making more with less always interests me. So
Yes.
there's a lot of confusion in the marketing space, especially in construction.
Yeah.
Uh, people, the typical frustration is, how much should I spend? It's not working. I'm not getting leads, blah, blah. So I'm going to go through a couple of
Yep.
questions. So
Yeah.
the first one is, there seems to be a debate between whether I spend money on search engine optimization or pay-per-click, or how should I 50-50, 90-10. So how do you, when you get a marketing budget, how do you allocate pay-per-click versus SEO?
Yeah, great question. A lot of it's going to depend on the goals of the business and what they want to do. However, so much of this is also going to go down to geography. Certain areas in the US are going to be so incredibly expensive to target, where others may be super cheap. For instance, we have a commercial and residential remodeler in Virginia. For us to get them leads, their average cost per click is $8 to $10. Really great. We can scale with that ad spend all the time. We started with the exact same company basically in Oregon. It was our first client in Oregon. About $70 cost per click is what they were seeing with
Whoa.
Google right off the bat for very
Wow.
similar keywords. And then the low average we were seeing was like $46 cost per click.
But why the difference? I don't understand. Oregon looks like the middle of nowhere. I mean, no offense to Oregon, but I mean,
Hey, that's what we thought too. And so we do our research before we get started, and there's a few things at play. When we first interact with any business, we are always going to look at search traffic first and get an idea of what those cost per clicks might be before we suggest any type of budget. Here's the
right.
thing. When we first looked at this person's plan and looked at their keywords, we were like, okay, we can make this work. And the average was going to be 20 to 30 cost per click. And so we were like, we can work with that. It's on the more expensive side, but they had a decent budget, so we can do this. The problem is going into the fourth quarter of every year, more advertisers hop onto Google, and fourth quarter is everyone's cost per clicks go through the roof. So for this guy to start with us going to the fourth quarter, he had a few things already against him. We're still doing well, but yeah. So to answer your question, to circle back on that, most of our clients do a combination of both. We'll have pay-per-click on Google ads, whether it's search ads or performance max. Typically search ads will be the bulk of the budget, our small management fee, and then a small local SEO package that targets keywords that are needle drivers for them.
Okay. So you balance that. And what about percentage of income? Like, you've got remodeling companies, service companies. Obviously, the margin's better for a service company that's a remodeling company or a home builder. But how do you allocate your budget? Let's say I'm doing $3 million a year and I'm a remodeling company. How
Yeah.
much should I spend on marketing?
Yeah, great question. So we have a company that is pretty much in the exact spot that you're talking about. And for them, they try to allocate between 3 and 5% of annual gross. The thing you want to be careful though with that is you don't want every month to give a different amount to Google, because your cost per click is going to be bouncing all over the place. We want to have a steady ad spend that we can rely on, say, okay, regardless of what you're doing in sales, for the next 6 months, we're going to be giving Google, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, instead of saying, hey guys, we had crazy sales this month, so I'm going to give you 5% of that, spend it on Google. The problem is you show your hand to Google, Google sees you have more money, your cost per click goes up. We don't want that happening. So
Right.
we want to figure out a budget we're happy with, coast with that for a while, and then gradually increase it as the business increases.
Okay. Now, is everything still Google still God? There's nobody else in the market other than Google when it comes to pay-per-click stuff.
Yeah, right now for pay-per-click, it's definitely Google. With that said, there's a lot of research my team and I are doing, as don't know if you guys have heard about this, but ChatGPT is launching a search engine
Right.
called Search GPT. And so there's some speculation as to how much of a industry shaker that'll be. Outside of Google, we've had a few clients ask us about Bing ads, but whenever we do research, we can basically just see what traffic looks like, and the ROI is not usually there for most markets.
Now, this is a more quick question. Do you think they're going to force Google to break up or not? Or I mean, is it going to change anything?
Yeah, that's funny. I was telling my wife the other day, I said it's so insane to see like the monopoly laws that came after John D. Rockefeller. And then here we are, and the US is run primarily by monopolies.
Right.
And so with that said, I think Google owns everybody. So I don't think that people are very incentivized, and no government officials are too
I
incentivized
see.
to break them up.
I see. So they have the right money in the right places that they're going to not, because they are God when it comes to that. They own that market. There's
They
no
are. They
question.
they completely own, yeah, pay-per-click, 100%.
They own search and right. Okay.
Yep.
So let's talk about another subject a little bit, AI. Now
Yeah.
I've heard like AI is good, AI is bad. Some people, I had one guy I worked with, and you throw everything you've ever done in your life into AI. Maybe it's 1,000 pages or something, right? And then you say, hey, write me a blog, write me 3 blogs a week, da 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 da. Is that bad? Is that good? I know it's a lot less expensive, but does it really work? Does Google like AI or not? It is AI, which is sort of funny, but is it like or not like AI, and how does that work?
Yeah, really good question. And that's something that there was a lot of confusion about, and a lot of people didn't have clarity on it in the early days of AI. We're still definitely in the early days, but here's what Google has formally said. When ChatGPT first came out, Google had a huge influx of tons of AI written content. And because of that, Google started limiting how effective those blogs could be. And so Google said, hey, if we just have all this AI content coming out 24/7, we can't basically verify quality. And so we're going to have our filters show if it's AI, and then we're not going to let it do as well. Now, the problem is everyone started using AI. And so now Google, I think it was very shortly after they started not letting it perform as well. Very shortly after, they said, we are no longer going to put limits on AI content. Everyone's using it. The thing is, we still need it to be relevant. So if you are a contractor business, and let's say you're just doing commercial remodeling, you better not start talking about something that is outside of that with AI blogs, because we still will pull it back if it's not relevant. But AI blogs are great.
Because my thought is, if you want to write a blog, you can just say, write me a blog about, how to choose a contractor, or what's the best.
Sure.
It's really fast. It's great. It's fast. It's quick, and you can edit a little bit. To talk about a time saver is huge.
Yeah, it's huge. Absolutely. We utilize AI in so many of our day-to-day operations, which is a big reason why we basically, essentially, a lot of our operations, we supplement our team's expert knowledge with additional input from AI, and we create a product that is better than our competitors for less money. The current agencies that are not adapting their practices to include AI, they're all going to go away. They're not going to be here in a year.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I know guys that are fighting legal cases with AI. Look, they're using ChatGPT to find a lawsuit, or they're, if you find, like, literally, if you want an astrology, ask your phone. Or I think any business where they're selling information for money is going to get disrupted hugely.
Yep. 100%.
Music industry. I mean, I use the analogy. You used to all have CDs, right? If you really all used to have tapes or albums.
Yep.
Now you have an app on your phone called Spotify, and you're done, right? For $10 a month, it's over with music, right?
Yep.
And I see that happening to a lot of other industries. And so, to bring another question, Daryl, have you seen? There's a lot of money available in the construction industry, because what happened is all this capital, like private equity, that was spending money on, movie companies and lawyers and that kind of stuff, went, no, AI is going to wipe those guys out. We need to spend money somewhere that AI can't disrupt, like a remodel or roofing or something. Sure. So there's hundreds of millions coming into this industry that I saw, and I've been in this industry for 50 years. I've never seen this influx of capital. And they're doing roll-ups of roofing companies. I call it sort of the Walmartization of construction. Like, you remember in the old days, there was a company, like, there was a downtown drugstore and a supermarket and all that kind of stuff. And then what happens is they build a Walmart right a mile out of town, and they can't find any good people. All the downtowns are complaining how bad business is. They build a Walmart. Some Walmart finds 500 people. They get their marketing act together, and they just suck all the business out downtown. So I see this happening in construction. So, but the good news in marketing is if you're not good at marketing, you're not good at recruiting, I don't think you're surviving the construction industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with
And
you.
so being good at marketing, what kind of things do you do that allow them, because it's all about leads, that create leads?
Mm-hmm. For me, the biggest part of it is just psychology. I was actually just on a call right before this where we were talking about the psychology of it. We want to create as much alignment as possible in as little of time as possible. That's why most clients that we start with will tweak their website quite a bit before we start doing any type of SEO or Google Ads or any type of traffic coming to the website. Because if somebody types in kitchen remodeler near me and they click the link and it says contractor in Louisiana, that does not create alignment. You're not going to get leads off of that. So something we've started doing is we will build landing pages that are specific for specific types of searches that we want to target. This helps with SEO. It really works well on Google. And then so if somebody types in bathroom contractor near me, bathroom remodel contractor, we want to have a page just called bathroom remodel contractor near you. And then we're going to drive all the traffic just to that. So people get exactly what they click for. The alignment's perfect. People fill out that form and they reach out to you.
Now, this sounds like a crazy question. What is a typical ROI, I mean, on ads? Because I know one of the things that happens in the industry, it's even happened to me, is people show you all these statistics and go, wow, you've had, 30,000 views on YouTube and you show these numbers, but I go, I didn't get any leads, dude. I mean, I don't care how many people watched it. I want to know, did I get any business from it?
Yeah.
So one of the things marketing companies tend to do, in my opinion, is show you all these statistics and try to justify their cost by saying, hey, you had 10,000. I don't care. If I ever have 2 people, one choose me, rather than 10,000, nobody chose me, right?
Yep. 100%. And so fun fact, when I first started this a handful of years back, I started this out of spite for a specific agency that one of my friends was getting screwed by. And so every month he'd get that 30-page PDF report saying, you got so many impressions, so many people saw everything. And I was like, this is worthless. And you're paying $8,000 a month. This is absolutely worthless. And so for us, what we track is only people who came from our ads reaching out to you. So for our clients, we can show them how many quotes saw our ads, then came to you. How many people saw our ads, then called you? How many people saw our ad, then clicked contact us? How many people requested directions? How many people emailed you? We will only track the tangible numbers that equal some type of a prospect reaching out to you. With that said, ROI is hard to attribute because some people suck at closing. And so I'll get on the prospect calls and they're like, what's the ROI? And I say, well, how good can you close? My systems work. I'll get you leads, but judge, and I'll look at their character and I'll make a judgment based there. And I'll be like, all right, you're gonna need a big budget because you're not going to close much.
Right. You're supposed to make 20%, you need 40% more than anybody else, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So how does your agency, you say you produce more for less results. Can you give me some examples what that actually looks like, Danny?
Yeah, I'll tell you how it works. The big part where we're able to produce produce more for less money is because of our pricing model. And so a traditional agency is going to take whatever ad spend you have available, and their management fee is going to be a decent percentage of that. So if you say, hey, I have $5,000 a month, most agencies will just say, great, you have $5,000 a month for Google Ads. But when they're saying for Google Ads, they're not saying $5,000 a month is going towards Google Ads platform. They're saying we're also taking $2,000 a month for our management fee. So what we do to scale this is we've created small prices that reflect the actual amount of work we have to do, and it isn't a percentage of your ad spend. And so it's like, if you want one campaign managed, you have a very small fixed fee, regardless of the ad spend you give us, because we're only managing one campaign. Our work isn't increasing. We're going to set up the campaign. We're going to manage it accordingly. If you have 2 to 5, yeah, go ahead.
So give me the numbers. What would that be for a typical guy?
A typical person in the one campaign is about $400 a month. That's all they're charged for us to manage it, and then everything else goes to Google.
Okay. How much that sounds really inexpensive. How much is the campaign again?
How much? $400 a month.
That's it. Yeah. So I'm just informed, and even if I'm spending $10,000 on Google Ads on one specific campaign, it's going to cost me $400 a month.
Yeah, we've never ran into, because we really specialize in local service businesses, we've never ran into an instance where our model hasn't worked really well for this. Because think about it. If somebody can scale to $10,000 a month on one campaign, and the way we define a campaign is a service vertical. So if you do kitchen remodeling and bathroom remodeling, those are two separate campaigns.
Right.
So if we're doing one campaign, let's say just kitchen remodeling, if there's enough search traffic in your targeted areas to spend $10,000 a month, that's not going to increase our work. The ad's just going to get clicked a lot more. We're still going to build amazing ads. We're still going to do amazing keyword targeting, but our work is not really going to be increasing, except for maybe we're excluding keywords more often because irrelevant searches are coming through, but that's about it. And so small fixed fees per campaign has worked really, really well for us.
Well, that's sort of interesting. That's not the normal way marketing companies work, is it?
No, and that's why we're stealing everybody's clients.
Because they go, I'm looking at guys who are spending, I'm spending whatever, $5,000 a month and $2,000 is going toward the marketing, my $3,000 budget. I've seen that happen, right?
Yeah, and I got to be careful what I say on here, Paul, because I'm telling you, we've figured out some stuff out, and we have people coming for us trying to do what we do. And so we've built a very unique system where our prices reflect insane value without the insane price, and we have about double the margin of the majority of marketing agencies. And so we got to keep some of it under wraps. I'm happy to talk to some of your people. However, I'll give you what I can through the screen, if that makes sense.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I don't care if you get some magic formula, that's great. What I'm seeing here is a huge value. Because it seems like you're disrupting the conventional marketing structure of an agency. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. And here's the, without getting into details, here's the secret sauce. Okay. You're paying so much to your current agency because your retainer is paying the salary of the person who's meeting with you every month to talk to you about results. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. It's a different model. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So no, I totally get that. So I would say, give me some examples of, I got a company that's spending X dollars, the kind of results. I'd like a remodeling company. Maybe give me a remodeling company and give me a roofing or home service company. Some of the just specific examples.
We started with a commercial. I mentioned this in the beginning, a commercial and residential remodeling company. They primarily do exteriors. So it's siding, roofing, windows, that kind of stuff. Right. 2.5 years ago, when we started with them, they were trending for $700,000 a year. That's about what they did. Their package with us is around $3,500 a month. I think $2,000 of that is ad spend. Then they do social media and SEO included in that. So very, very, very affordable. This year, I believe they're trending for 4.5 to 5 million.
Wow.
And in July was the biggest month for them, but they had, I think, 300 calls, and our ads sent 202 of those calls.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, okay, give me an example of something like a roofing or some kind of service company.
Okay. So outside of, can it be any type of service company? Because we got some.
Something in construction.
Something construction. Okay, cool. A gutter company in near DC. So we started with them. They had a very, very, very small budget. And the concern was, how much are we going to put towards Google ads versus local SEO? And so for them, they've been with us 4 months now, and we were able to increase their leads by, it was about 40%. And so they're a small company. They were doing like 400K a year, very small startup, right? Wow. But in the Google Analytics, we had seen that they were getting like 10, about 30 quote requests a month. So maybe like one a day almost. After we had started, we had added another 20 to that. So within 4 months, 30 went to 50. And from what I hear, the close rate is really high. It's a really charismatic young guy. He's killing it. But he's paying like $1,600 a month.
Wow. That's amazing.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, so this is all very interesting because, I interview a lot of marketing companies, and definitely you're different than most, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Thank you. Because
a lot of people, they all sound like they cost more than you do and don't produce the results. And I think your original statement may actually be true.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it is. We, in 2 years, we have 100% retention. No one's ever left. And so what happens is marketing agencies typically have a churn of like 4 to 6 months. Clients leave because they're paying too much. Results aren't good. And so with that 100% retention in 2 years, everybody can leave. No one is locked into contracts. They can all leave whenever they want. And so, yep.
Okay. Well, this is really information, Danny. So I'm intrigued. If people want to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
The easiest way is to go to bluevinemarketing.com and you can click the contact form and fill something out, or feel free to email my personal email, which is danny@bluevinemarketing.com.
Okay, Danny. So my guess is most people listening to this podcast are paying too much in marketing. That's a bad statement, but
They are.
I've been in this industry. I've been in this industry like 50 years. When I started, they were using pagers. That's all land, right?
Yep.
They were
Yep.
consultants. And I've seen marketing happen, and I've seen it come into this industry, and it's very frustrating because a lot of people are spending a lot of money and they're not happy because they're getting statistics, not clients.
Yep.
So I think this is a great thing. If you're not happy with your marketing company, which is a lot of people listen to this podcast, I'd certainly give Danny a call because it doesn't sound rather, they use the word, what is it? Disrupt the industry, but I think you may be doing that, which is pretty amazing.
That's what we're trying to do, man. People are getting screwed over. My old boss got screwed over, started the agency after watching what happened. And yeah, we're doing really well ever since.
Sounds great, Danny. Okay, I really appreciate you being here.
My pleasure. Have a good one, Paul.